We'll Meet Again is a new 6-part PBS series executive produced and reported by award-winning journalist Ann Curry. The goal of the show is both beautiful and brilliant. It seeks to reunite people separated by historical events. Exploring history through the eyes of those who experienced it, the series brings together people whose lives intersected at pivotal moments and reveals the powerful bonds forged between individuals who now, against the odds, have the chance to reunite with someone who transformed their life. Take a look.
You're 10 years old and you're in this terrible circumstance.
Hitler invalidated our passports.
Events that changed the world.
How did you first see Gary Ferguson?
Crazy American cowboy.
People who changed each other's lives.
There's nobody that had a bigger impact on my life.
Mary Frances was standing up for you.
I need to see her, and it gets more urgent the older I get.
Rika!
Look at you. It's been a lifetime, hasn't it?
Time.
We'll Meet Again, only on PBS.
I had the chance to meet with Ann Curry, my former colleague and friend from NBC, and began by asking her to tell me about the idea behind all of these stories featured in this powerful series.
We're looking at world-changing events, wars, humanitarian disasters, political upheavals, example, World War II, Vietnam, 9/11, the Civil Rights Movement, and it goes on from there. And we are talking to people who are caught up in them, who are looking for the person who helped them survive emotionally or physically. And they're having a hard time tracking these people down. So we help them find that person. And then when possible, we help reunite them.
So the backdrop for all these stories are historical events, but you're focusing on the people and the personal stories. How did you then find those stories?
Well, it wasn't easy because you know very well you've got to do a lot of, shoe leather journalism to track them down. I mean, thank goodness we have the internet so that we could actually start looking. And people, when they're looking for someone, often go into certain groups or sites, so a military site, or you can see. So you sort of see, and it takes a long time, but you start finding people, you call people, I can tell you about so and so, and then you track it down. It didn't really work. It's not really a story. They don't want to be on camera. One time they didn't want to be on camera, but the story was so good that we reconnected them anyway. But actually, it's more common than you realize. I think because these kinds of events actually are constant. They're happening today, and there is something about humankind that has only survived. You and I have only survived as human beings. Anyone listening has only survived as human beings because back when, in some level of their ancestry, somebody stood up and took care of somebody emotionally or physically so that we could be here. We are here because of this fundamental reality in our human family, which is that we stand up for each other. We want other human beings to survive. We have it within us to have our species survive. And we will do crazy, heroic, and kind and thoughtful things to make that happen, not just for people we know and love, but the people we have barely met.
These are stories of survival, of standing up, of reunions, and you have your own fascinating personal story about reunions, which is literally and figuratively why you are here. That I would think in some way informs some of these stories. Tell me about your parents.
It's certainly why I wanted, why I knew immediately when this idea came up why it resonated so quickly. And it's a story that I know in my family that I just happen to know, but I think it's a story of all of us. My father was an occupation soldier in the end of World War II. My mother was a rice farmer's daughter who was, in a town punching tickets on a streetcar, essentially to help feed her family back at the rice farm because everybody was destitute. And my dad saw my mom, fell in love, and they fell in love, and he wanted to marry her. They were 18. Over the course of a year and a half, they wanted to marry. And the military said, no, you can't marry this woman because she represents the enemy. And besides, you're 18, you're going to make a big mistake. So they shipped him out to Morocco, and he had to be on another ship patrolling the Mediterranean Sea. He kept asking to be returned, and he kept getting no for an answer. Finally, a commanding officer said, I took pity on him, sent him back. He goes back, he goes up to her house, and you think that this is the end of the story, but it's not, because when they see each other again is when he discovers for the first time that she's dying with a terminal diagnosis of tuberculosis. And that's when he decides, then this time you can marry a Japanese woman, but you can't marry a sick one. So he got her sister to take the x-ray, and he lied to the U.S. Navy, and he said, I'm marrying this one, but he actually married my mother, even though he knew she was dying. Then he said, we're going to get you the right doctors, and we're going to see what happens. And they said, well, we don't think we can save her, but they went in, and they said goodbye a second time before they went in and took out 90% of one of her lungs. He nursed her back to health, helped with my grandmother, and I'm the oldest of their 5 children. So this is a story about the ferocity of love, about loyalty, about courage, all these things that I think these episodes really speak to. And again, I really just think these are the stories of all of us.
So did you find that putting these people together and letting them tell their stories, that in a way it provided a sense of closure for them, let them close a circle in their life from the past to the present?
Absolutely. I know that's true of the World War II series because they said it was true. A woman had been looking for her elementary school friend for more than 70 years, and it was exactly what she said, I can't die without doing this. In the story that is the second episode, there's a story about a woman who has to find the man who completely changed her life, the helicopter pilot who rescued her from Mount St. Helens, because not only did he completely change her life in terms of saving it, he completely changed her life in terms of how she led her life. And when you find out what she did and how this extended, that completely changed her life and fulfilled it, you absolutely know that you're absolutely right. This is a closing of a circle. In some cases, maybe not so much, but in almost all cases. And I think all of us can remember someone who probably, it would be great if we could actually thank them or say something. And we should, and if people are inspired to do that, that's really great. If you have been affected by somebody who you only know from 9/11 and you don't even know their name, but it completely changed your life, and you want to find that person, where do you start? And that was what happened in one of our stories. We had to actually find the name of the person. And that took a long time of, shoe leather reporting, but research, and we found him.
Last question for you. These are stories about compelling journeys and relationships and reunions, putting people back together. But do you find that these stories actually resonate for all of us today?
Wow, the responses are really about the mirror it's holding up. And I think we are perhaps living through a time when it's hard to always remember these fundamental human traits that have always existed throughout time, and that we've evolved to have, these traits of sort of trying to rescue each other, right, in various ways, which is why we have bravery and loyalty and connection, why we need each other, why we're such a social animal species. It's hard to remember that, especially in a time when we feel, even today, very, very divided, as we have in history. It's happened before, and it's happening today. And so what I'm noticing in terms of response, people sort of, because there is a well of empathy that they open up to these stories, but they're also talking about how they're reminded about the power that we all have to reach out to each other, to truly listen, and to recognize that we are vastly more connected, even despite even the most extreme political views today, than we are by our relatively few divisions. And we are living a lie when we don't recognize these connections. They're fundamental to who we are and how we're made, and not recognizing them makes us feel lonely and apart in a way that we don't need to feel.
Well, it's a marvelous journey you take us on for these folks. It's just fabulous stories. And it's always good to
Thanks,
see
Jack.
you.
It's so great
Good.
to see
Thank you so much.
What a joy
You
to
do
work
well.
with you again.
We'll Meet Again airs Tuesdays on PBS until February 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Please check your local listings for subsequent airings, and for more information, log on to metrofocus.org.